right, and welcome everyone to Session 5 of Call of Cthulhu, Memento Mori, a Call of Cthulhu actual play run by myself and three really cool dudes and one asshole. I'll let you guess which one's the asshole. But with that being said, there it is. He didn't have to guess. He told you. But with that being said, we're going to go around the table. We'll have all of our players introduce themselves, their characters, as well as that's really it. They're just going to introduce themselves and their characters. That's where we're at today. And then we're going to have a delightful recap from none other than Darewolf Den's own, Simple 24. It's going to be fantastic. He's going to recap the heck out of it. And then we're going to dive right back into this strange and potentially deadly mystery that we have here. But without further ado, and pontification by myself, take it away. Sanbei, Professor Hex, Matthew, and Simple.
Problem with cable headphones. I'm Sunbay, also known as Jeff in the real world. I play Anton Andreevich Orlov, your friendly neighborhood smuggler.
Yes, I am Spider's man. No, I am Professor Hex. I will be playing, as always, Amara Al Haradi, a Moroccan private investigator who took up residence in Boston a few years ago and is a veteran of the Great War.
Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew. I play David Knox, a somewhat emotionally and psychologically overwrought young man who was a farmer and is now studying to be a doctor after inheriting a vast fortune from a deceased former investigator.
Mm-hmm.
And I am Symbol24. I'm also on Twitch. I'm in the same name. I started recently streaming some Marvel Snap and a bit of Dark Warhammer 40k Darktide. There we go. Words. Hard. Sorry.
Hard is a word, yes.
Yes. And I play Detective Duncan Murphy from Boston. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Beautiful. And of course, I am Darewolf, the Game Master, or in this case, the Keeper. And without further ado as well, Duncan, please take it away and give us that sweet, sweet recap.
We left off our ragtag group. Detective Murphy had been on his way down to join the group, but a small accident left him stranded. So he found his way to the Orchard Run diner, inn, and garage complex thing in the middle of the road place, and met the owner and his daughter and a few other patrons of the diner. Meanwhile, the other ragtag group were at the hospital where David was recuperating from his ordeal and woke up from his coma. And from his coma, he heard the Orchard Run name, and thus when it was mentioned by I don't know who, but I mentioned it anyways, and the group decided to join us. They met up and they encountered a woman seemingly a bit crazy running through the woods.
Mm-hmm.
And when they got to the diner, a truck was left unattended or in the middle of the road, at which point they started investigating and found two unalived people in the front cab. Then
Interesting.
And then a white globe appeared, and now some of us have seen into its maw and peered into its abyss, and others are safe inside and just wondering what the hell is going on.
That was actually a beautiful recap. Absolutely beautiful recap. You know what? You may roll 1d4 and add that much luck back to your pool, just because I'm feeling generous tonight, and you're probably all going to die. So we pick back up outside of the diner. We see the two investigators. We see Amara. We see Anton standing by the trunk, this glowing white, semi-translucent orb with this horrific sort of swirling, almost half melted, like the flesh underneath the skin has turned into liquid and is seeped out of it. These weird pustules, kind of head floating in the middle of it. It opened its maw just unnaturally wide. There was nothing but a black void inside of this. It looked as though it would be screaming, but no sound came out. There was simply just this rustling kind of noise. as the tree shook and bowed, and as though reality itself was kind of bending, almost kind of like a fisheye camera around this thing. The light became dimmer and dimmer and dimmer as it disappeared back in the forest. Meanwhile, back inside of the diner, Amelia Webb is panicking. The young Mary is trying to calm her down. Miss, please, it's all right. It's just a light. A car went by. Amelia is panicking. You don't understand. You don't understand. It's come for us. It's come for us. It's gonna kill us just like it did my grandfather. Everyone is dead. Everyone is dead. And she's just panicking and panicking. Meanwhile, Winford and Teddy Brewer, the old couple that was having their weekly getaway so they can get some pancakes, are both looking outside. Winifred is looking at Teddy. Teddy, what's going on? Something about the light. That woman needs help. Should we do something? Don't get involved. Don't get involved, Winifred. It'll be fine. Let's just get our bill. At the end of the bar, Jake Burns has leaned around, kind of spun on this little bar stool, as it were, and you can just barely make out what appears to be a revolver tucked in to his pants waist, the waist part of his pants, his belt, as it were. Excuse me. And I'd like to pick back up with the two investigators outside, actually, who just witnessed this thing. What would you guys like to do?
Do you saw that, right?
Yes, Anton, I did see that. Is there is there no end to the crazy things that we will see?
No, the people in the truck are dead, but was that the spirit leaving the body, like the church say?
I don't think so. That was if it is spiritual at all, it is probably from the other place. No,
And, he looked very angry. The Hudashkoi Ogarnik is, I always thought was much happier thing. The floating lights in the woods, you know the stories.
yes. I think we've escaped the realm of stories and myth, and now we are in the midst of something. I could ask Duncan might have something valuable to say about this.
Let's move the truck out of road and
Yes.
at least make it so people don't stop. They can drive by. You know, do what I need to do to get the truck.
So there is a body. There is a body inside of the driver's seat. So it's sitting in the driver's seat of this truck. As you have been, you pivoted around, I believe, to speak with Amara in front of the truck by the lights. The truck engine is still actually running. So there's this kind of bum, 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 you know, the engine turning and turning and turning. But as you maybe perhaps start to climb up into the truck, are you doing so from the passenger's side or the driver's side?
I'll go around to the driver's side around the back.
So it is a step up. There's a little step, and then there's kind of like the running board, and then you can step up into the truck. As you go to step up, the body in the driver's seat, the head sort of rolls. And if you remember from last session, their skin was completely white, as though they were completely bleached white, save for the tongue that appeared to have been pulled out. It still had a red, looked just like a healthy tongue. You hear a kind of sounds as though there's like gas or something escaping, or as though this person just let out a moan. What do you do about that?
I cover my mouth so I don't breathe in what they have. If I can get it toward the gas sometimes would come out of bodies, and so then push off the side.
Professor Hex. So as you go to pull it out, where specifically are you grabbing the body from?
I'm not taking out the car, pushing over. See,
Oh, so you're pushing it into like the middle section of the
yeah,
truck.
the riding beach.
As you go to push the body, you get up, you're standing on the running board, you maybe put one foot up into the actual cabin itself. And as you go to push, this white, almost albino looking person, the hand with a unnatural quickness lashes out, grabbing onto your wrist with a kind of strength that an emaciated, almost just completely atrophied looking body should not be able to do. The head turns towards you, and as you recall, the eyes were devoid of color. They were completely white like the rest of the body, but you can barely hear this kind of whisper that just almost breathlessly emanates from the body. Kill me, please. As it squeezes down on your wrist, I need you to give me roll strength.
$5. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Roll me a strength.
PayPal okay, or just give me Venmo?
I'd prefer Bitcoin, but that's okay.
Cashier's checks.
We gotta go back to 25, yeah.
You could
Operate
totally,
heavy
like,
machine?
No, I need you to try and release yourself from this grip that this person has on you right now.
Okay.
So I need you to roll a strength, please. Wow,
Oh,
that's terrible. So
That is very bad.
that's
you
critically failed.
try to pull back, but as you pull back, this person takes the other arm. Amara, you hear some sort of scuffle. The engine's still running. You can just barely make out that you see the arm of the other person, this white, pure white looking person, reach over and latch onto Anton's face.
Hmm.
It grabs your head, Anton, and starts to pull you closer. Its mouth begins to open, and you hear this, "Kill me! Kill me! Kill me!" just again and again and again. And it looks as though this thing is about to try and lick or bite Anton's face.
So I see enough of this, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So we opened the doors, so those are open, right?
Yep.
I already had my gun drawn.
Yes, you did.
I'm gonna shoot this motherfucker in the head because we've seen some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
He's trying to like basically NBA jam Anton into hell or something. So I'm gonna take care of it. So I would like to shoot that gentleman in the head.
I like where your mind's at. It's good.
Okay, so let's see here. Firearms, handgun.
It
just
does
me,
seem
or
an
is,
appropriate
Wolf
response.
frozen?
I am
Wolf
frozen
is a little frozen.
for some reason. Don't know why. But we'll deal with it.
It's the cat.
My camera off.
Okay, here we go.
Apparently my
Wait.
Oh,
Hold on. So how much do I need? 8. I'm gonna spend 8 luck.
you want to spend that? Okay.
Yeah. To make it a 45.
I
Yep.
like that. I like that.
Which is exactly the caliber of my gun.
My camera just decided to die. Well,
Cool.
might be a thing. Aha, we're back. All right, there you go. All right, so you shoot. The firearm ignites, obviously. You see the ka-chang, the bullet flies forward. There's a loud pop. And Anton, as this thing is opening its maw, almost like a serpent of some sort, the tongue is just about to lick your left eye, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's begging to have you kill it. Its head explodes, sending just chunks of dried, flaky flesh that cover you. There is no blood. There is no ichor. There is no brain matter. There is no ooze. It is as though you're being pelted with dry, flaky snake skin, almost. Like that skin you'd see when it sheds its skin in the desert or whatnot. The creature slumps. Your wrist is no longer being held on tightly, and there is now just a white, headless body leaning ever so slightly, almost elegantly, against your chest. From inside, you all heard what sounded like a crack of thunder, but Duncan, you're pretty sure that was a gunshot.
Everybody calm down. Don't worry. I'll go investigate. David, right? David. Just make sure everything's okay, and point to the guy, the hairy guy. Just make sure everybody's okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And I run outside with taking out my revolver and joining them.
Okay.
And David is in the midst of attempting to placate Amelia.
Mm-hmm.
The medical, if I could just ask for a moment, the medical supplies that we have, do they include morphine?
You tell me. It's your story.
I mean, that's probably a luck roll.
You know what? Roll luck. I like that. Yeah, I like that. Luck is good.
Yeah, that'll be a. Well, what do you know? Hard
Hey,
success.
look at that. Nice. You find two doses of morphine.
I might need one.
So, as she's panicking and he's already noticed that Jake is armed and apparently becoming more agitated, he is going to try to placate Amelia and say, "Look, I understand we will get out of here, but you're in no condition to move. Let me give you something. You can, you can barely stand. A shot of adrenaline will keep you strong as we're escaping. Okay?"
She is hysterical, shaking, trying to push Mary away, who's not really holding on to her, but she's a young girl. She's 16. She looks completely out of her element, almost lost. She says, "Amelia, he's a doctor, I think. Just listen to him. Amelia is panicking. "You don't understand. It got out of its box. We've got to get to the cabin. We've got to get it back in the box. We've got to get it back. It doesn't. You don't understand." Go ahead and you may attempt to administer the morphine to her if you so choose.
Okay.
Oh, damn. Thanks for the bits, man. Appreciate you, Broccoli.
Medicine?
Yeah.
Apparently that ruse was successful.
That works. So I'd like to flavor this, if I may, David, that as you are, pretending, hey, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna get you going. You're gonna be fine. She relaxes for the briefest of moments, and that allows you to. I'm imagining it's some sort of syringe or injection. Where do you inject it into her? Just straight into the heart. Frickin'. Just
Pulp Fiction style.
Pulp Fiction
No,
style.
I think just into the arm.
All right, yeah. So she relaxes. You see Mary get a little closer to her. She kind of puts her arms around her. She's like, "Amelia, it's going to be fine. Just let the doctor do what the doctor needs to do." And she relaxes. You inject it. And it's almost an instantaneous kind of me freezing for some reason, because my camera's being a real dick today. But neither here nor there. But we watch as she relaxes up. And as she relaxes up, she settles down and then sort of not slumps, but begins to lean back against the counter. And her words start to slur slightly. And she says, "Is it breakfast time already?" And then starts to kind of just slump down, and Mary sort of leads her down to the floor.
And just with a bit of a side eye towards Jake as he slumps down into one of the bar stools or one of the stools at the counter, David just says, "See, there's no need to get hysterical. Everything is fine. Everything's just fine. You just have to stay calm."
You see him noticeably take his jacket that he has that is you could just barely make out the revolver. It looked like a 6-shooter of some sort. He takes it and just kind of pulls it over and just shakes his head. Out of towners. And that's that. So back out in the street in the rain. You're both all soggy. Duncan, you arrive. Anton, you've managed to get into the vehicle, and you've managed to.
Well, as soon as the head blew off, I would have been pushed off of it, going back down into the street.
Okay.
And Amara's hearing strings of English curses, apparently Russian. She even thinks she hears some Chinese in there a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Just a string for like a minute or two of just
wow.
Bam down on the ground, kind of backing off, patting himself, wiping off.
Mm-hmm.
Anton, are you all right?
I think so. It's nothing on me. It's just it's like the snake skin just everywhere. You shot the Mertiet, the zombie, the dead live thing.
Let's not use the Z word. I took care of it. Yes. Are you well enough to take care of the truck?
I think I can drive and no problem. But this okay. Okay. I am good now. Okay. Okay, I can move the truck.
Mara, what in the world's going on?
Jeez.
And I pull out my what the
Oh, it's all right, Anton. It's Duncan.
oh
Get me out. I scared.
You guys are scaring everybody inside. What is going on?
There was Anton was
attack. Yeah.
Yes, one of the passengers in the truck here tried to assault him. I had no choice but to defend him.
I look inside the truck, see the remains of one, and the other's like something like that attacked. And what?
As you look inside and you see this kind of red tongue sticking out of the one that's still in there, you see the other one that's missing it. There's kind of like dusty white like dry skin flakes all over the inside of the vehicle on the driver's side. I'm gonna have you roll a sanity check.
Do they count as dead bodies?
Yes.
Then I don't have to roll for that. I have a trait
that's
says...
fantastic. So you just look at it and go, you've seen worse, and you feel nothing but contempt for these dead bodies. It's beautiful.
Yes, full of contempt.
So Anton, you get into the vehicle, you begin to back it up. Where exactly are you moving it to park it, my friend?
I will move it kind of right around in there just to get it off the road.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So as you go to back it up, you're actually getting close to the auto supply, this kind of little auto repair shop that they have next to the diner. And as you back it up, you pull around, and the lights of the truck really illuminate this big window. You see that as the lights kind of flash, as though it's almost kind of like a beacon. It's just kind of like going by. As the lights cross that window, you can see for the briefest of moments someone standing, like in the center of the room. As the first headlight hits, as the second headlight hits, that person is gone. And you kind of maybe do a double take, but you think you saw at least one person inside for the briefest of moments. They were kind of shadowy outline there. Even though it was illuminating it looked like a black silhouette standing inside of that area.
Amara and Duncan, I think anything is weird. I tell you, but inside the store there was a person in window, then no person in window, like that.
Duncan, you would recall that the owner Sam went down to check on Billy, the mechanic that works down at his auto body shop about probably like 5-10 minutes ago.
Maybe it's the owner. He was supposed to go and check on him on the mechanic, and he said something about a doctor. So
We should probably check because nothing moves that fast.
My thoughts exactly. There's now that we've seen this thing in the truck, we can't take any chances.
No. And I pull my pistol out.
oh yeah, I've had my revolver out for a while now.
Don't worry, Murph. I'll fill you in on the way.
All right.
And as we're walking over there, I want to relate the
globe,
the nonsense that just
the
happened.
nonsense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So there's a large window so imagine you're staring at the building. On the left-hand side, there's a large, looks like a big window, almost like kind of like a bay window.
Mhm.
And you can see there's an office inside. To the right of that, there's a large garage door, big enough for a car and a half to fit in. And then there's a small door just to the right of that. The whole front of the building is roughly about 50 feet wide. And so you've got these 3 different distinct entrances. The door to the shop on the right-hand side, so the left-hand side is the bay window, middle is the garage door, right-hand side is the door. That door is open, and it's sort of ka-chunk, 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 sort of
In the wind.
in the wind, moving back and forth and making this kind of banging noise that you can just make out over the rain.
Not ominous at all.
Not at all.
I take out a brand new and newly issued little flashlight, the Force.
Mhm.
And I point it
Yeah,
at the
I'll gesture for like I'll have my gun in that 45 degree, sort of like up but not all the way up. And sort of gesture at Duncan to take the lead.
I put it our new friend Anton here and the side of the door and myself.
Mhm.
So go to the door and put my foot in when it's gonna ka-chunk close.
So
then
it is
start
this
looking at-
kabang, bang, bang, thud. It's your foot.
and then use my foot to kick it open completely.
There is a conveniently timed kaboom, a crash of thunder, and then you can just hear that, it needs some grease, that as you open it up. The inside of the auto body shop, when you arrived, you recall Anton and Amora, that it was illuminated. There was somebody working. The garage door itself was open. It looks like he was probably, whoever works here, was likely getting ready to kind of wrap up the evening. The inside is completely dark. So the lights are out, save for what appears to be like a flickering in another door. So if you look at through the doorway that you're entering,
Mhm.
there is another door that seems to go into like a back office, and there's a flickering of maybe like some sort of fluorescent light, like a bulb is like flickering, like an old light bulb or something is going in and out.
So yeah, using the flashlight and gun, I do the standard entrance, but police entrance.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I call out, "Is anybody here? Does anybody need help?"
As you call out, you see someone. You can just see their legs. There is a counter to your left, about 20 feet away. It's all the way down. There's like a little work area. You can see where they would put a car. There's actually a vehicle in between you and that counter. You'd have to walk around it. But you see what looks to be a body draped over the counter. You can only make out their legs, the lower portion of their back, but it looks like their face, their head, and their arms are draped over the other side, as though maybe they're reaching over and almost like they passed out, and they're kind of draped like a saddle over a horse, but it's a human over a counter.
Damn.
What is their skin color?
You can't really tell because all you can see is pants, shirt, can't see arms or head.
Is he bone white as a fish? Bone white. The skin.
I can't make it out. From this distance. Amara, cover the door. I'll go check it out.
I do so.
And as you begin to press forward, I'm going to have you give us a listen check, please.
Yes, sir.
I just want to say, Anton, this is no time for racism. So if you could,
I was
Just
as
gonna
soon as
dial-
I
dial
said
it
that,
back.
I'm like, I know someone's gonna say something.
You hear it. There is a muttering as you start to move around the car towards the body draped over the counter. There's a muttering coming from the back office. This kind of whispered, just a few more, just a few more, just one more. Gotta keep it happy, keep it fine, just a few more, just a few. sorry, not good. And it's going on and on and on. One more, gotta keep it good. Keep it. It's this kind of insane, twitchy, sort of panting, muttering that you're hearing from the back room, and it is a voice that you don't recognize, Duncan. It's definitely not Sam, who had come back to check on Billy, was the name he used. How would you like to proceed?
I turn towards where the sound originates for me, and I point the flashlight, and then I hear something, so that. But I continue towards the body just to make sure.
As you get to the body, you see that you're roughly 10 feet from the body. You're just near the front of the vehicle. Has been pulled in sideways. Thank you so for that beautiful drawing, Professor Hex, on our screen there. It's good. But we see as you get closer and closer to it, you see that there is something sticking out of the back of Sam's body. It appears to be the hilt of a strange, almost ritualistic looking dagger of some sort. And there is a surprisingly lack of blood pooled around it, but there's definitely something sticking out of his back.
Nice. I just specifically don't touch it.
Okay.
Being a police officer, I know they don't touch the evidence.
Don't disturb the crime scene. Sure.
Is he dead?
Yeah, I go
no,
around.
no blood. So
I go around to check if I can see his face. Maybe check to see if he's still got a pulse.
So as you
and I'll be covering.
round the side of the counter, you see there is this kind of glisten on the ground behind the counter. And it doesn't take you long to recognize what this is. There is a pentagram that is made of blood, entrails. It appears that someone has taken intestines of a human being or animal of some sort and lined them up in such a way that would create this bloody pentagram on the ground. Now, I will need you to give us a sanity check here as you hear a cough from Sam, and you can see that the pentagram has a tail, and that tail leads up to Sam and kind of underneath his body, and yes, that is his intestines that have been pulled out, and he is still alive, but barely.
Even with my trait.
Yeah, this is messed up, man. He's also not dead. He's still alive.
God damn it!
Yikes! You are going to take 2 points of sanity damage. You do manage to keep it together, but
I swear.
you swear. All right. Fair enough. Ah,
It was audible. It was not held back.
You willikers.
what would you like to do?
I crouched down to look at Sam.
Mhm.
The,
Yes.
to at least not be the that he's, how can I put it, so that his last moment is not alone.
That's really good of you. You watch as he slowly turns his head towards you, and there's just a look of I want to fight. I am not giving up. This isn't the end of me. That is the expression on his face. It's just pure, unadulterated defiance, perhaps even disbelief on this man's face. But you are watching as the color from his skin is fading, fading,
And while
fading,
while he's fading, he's like, "Don't worry, man. I'll get the bastard."
fading. His tongue begins to... He like opens his mouth as though he's about to say something. You watch as his tongue begins to elongate, starts to kind of bulge a little bit, as though it's like pulsating. And then it hangs out the front of his mouth, and he looks exactly the same as the others did. The dagger starts to shake on his back, makes this kind of clinking noise. And then you can hear, as though you are cutting through cardboard like something dry, it pulls itself up and out of the body, then falls over and clatters onto the counter with a clanging sound.
What the fuck?
It is like the other ones inside the car.
That,
The-
what the fuck? All right, go back to Amara. We're gonna get this son of a bitch.
I've already started moving towards the office.
Mhm.
Now that we've seen that, like, yes, that has just happened.
That has just happened.
Things are escalating.
I would like you, both Anton and Duncan, to give me a spot hidden check, please, if you'd be so kind.
Can I listen instead?
This isn't a listen check. Either a spot or a spot hidden, whatever your question. Whatever your preference. Oof, so close.
I'm gonna spend 2 luck.
That's fair. Hey, you look away from the dagger on the counter for the briefest of seconds, and as you look back to perhaps comment to Duncan, you notice that that dagger is gone. Just gone.
The dagger is disappeared. Did you take it?
I illuminate where the dagger was, and like, I did not.
And I look over on the other side of the counter,
Mhm.
and that's when I see the bodily mess on the. It's not back there either.
You look back behind the counter. Give me a sanity check, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Oops. Gotta get out of edit mode.
Hey, you're good. You've seen some stuff. You're totally fine. You managed to keep it
You've
together.
started to see some stuff.
Amara, you have rounded the corner. The door is similarly ajar as it was when you entered in. This one's not clanging because of the wind, but you do hear the muttering coming from inside. Just a few more. Just a few more. Then I can go. Then I can go. Go home. Go. Just a few more. Just a few more. 2 in the truck. 2 in the truck. 2 in the truck. 1 in here. 1 in here. More inside the diner. Gotta end it. Gotta stab it to death. Are you pushing in?
Well, if I heard the word diner, certainly I would have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to like press my back against, next to the frame of the door, right? And I'm going to take just a quick look inside, right? Just to get a sense of the room before I go in.
So there's that single bulbed light and one of those kind of cone shaped, like above, like in the center of the room. It doesn't illuminate it very well, but it's flickering, and you see a man leaning against this back wall. You can see it looks like there's a little water closet behind that area, probably a toilet and a sink. He's leaning next to a long sort of filing cabinet, like desk, as it were, on the left-hand side of the room. and you see him sitting down, just kind of rocking back and forth. With every rock, his head hits the wall, and you can tell that there is a little dent in like the wood that he's been doing this for a while. There's a little blood splatter, and he's holding this knife in front of him as though it is just like a symbol of power for him or something. Most precious thing in the world. Like,
can I tell what the knife looks like?
Did you see the knife that was on the counter?
I probably saw it at a distance. It was a couple of feet
Looks
away.
similar to that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Can I? So this door, based on the diagram, sort of swings inward into the room, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. What I'd like to do is I'd like to do that SWAT thing where they swap positions, right? So I'm on this other side, do a little flip.
Okay.
And what I want to do is, as quickly as I can and as efficiently as I can, step in, grab the doorknob, shut the door, and then, well, let's see if that happens first. Because what I want to do is I want to close the door, and then I want to coordinate with Murph and Anton to, like, whatever this thing is nearby. I guess that's like some kind of crate or so. What is this?
So that is, how you can like work underneath vehicles.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what that is. It's like the grating to where you can go.
All
under.
right. Well, that changes my plan then. From where I am, can I see if the door locks from the outside?
It does.
Great. Then I will step in, yank, close, lock.
I like that.
Yeah, to try to contain this guy.
So as you reach in, give me a spot check.
Spot hidden. Okay.
Yep.
Be better than us. You're not better than us.
Wonderful. You slipped over the side. This took you a grand total of just a few seconds. As you reach in, you see this man has somehow, without making any noise, has gotten up from his sitting position. He is now standing next to the door with the dagger held high. And he screams at you, "Just a few more!" You see that his eyes, there are these dagger marks that, like a cut that goes down, cuts across his brow, hits his cheeks, goes down, and then there is another cut that crosses his nose, goes like this, creating an almost cross-like sort of weird, almost like an H, like an H on his face. And you can see that it looks as though he's been crying bloody tears. But he goes to stab you with the dagger in the arm. He's trying to cut you.
Yep.
So what would you like to do about that?
Well, I don't want that to happen.
Okay.
So I have enough time to see this, like a split second.
Yes, he is gonna swing at you. The spot hidden was to see if you could see him approaching. You didn't. He's gonna swing, and I want to know how you're reacting to, it's all happening simultaneously. But yeah, you didn't get the drop on him. He got the drop on you.
Okay, so from where I am, I've stepped in slightly to try to close the door. Can I see his feet?
Yes.
Okay. Well then, with my gun in the other hand, right? Because I've stepped in, I'm going to shoot him in the foot.
Okay. Here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to play this. I'm going to have you roll a dexterity.
No, I'm sorry. Shoot him in the leg.
In the leg. All right. Kneecap him, as it were.
Yes.
I'm going to have you roll a dexterity. This is an opposed check. Whoever rolls better will succeed. Of course, if you fail, you fail. He rolled a 16. He has an extreme success.
Cool. That's great. I'm so happy for him.
I'm happy for him too.
All right. Well.
I have good news and bad news, Amara. Which would you like first?
Well, since it's Cthulhu, the bad news, please.
All right, you're getting stabbed.
Cool.
In the arm.
Great.
The good news is your gun goes off. Also, other bad news. I forgot to tell you there's other bad news. It just hits the floor, which sucks. Okay. And because he slashes into you, causes you to jerk. There is this mind-numbingly painful gash. As you see the dagger come down, it slices along your forearm, so it kind of stabs downward. It cuts, and there is a large and long gash right up your forearm that comes up and nicks just above your elbow, and it just starts to bleed profusely. But as it bleeds and he pulls the dagger back up, so it kind of brings it down to this swiping, slashing moment, you see the blood pools up into the dagger as though the dagger is absorbing it. And your arm starts to congeal right away. Bad news, your arm starts to go completely numb and is at this point unusable. You also take an additional 4 points of damage.
Got it. Okay.
Give me a sanity check.
Yep.
Because you are starting to have these strange visions of... Yeah, that's great. That's a great thing that happened there for you. All right, you lose 1 point of sanity. You're actually keeping yourself together. It's not terrible at all, actually. Bad news is left arm's no longer usable. It was your left arm.
Right arm.
Right arm. Okay, right arm's no longer
usable. Because I stepped in with my right arm to close the door.
Right arm is no longer usable.
Okay.
Left arm is usable. Is now your action. What would you like to do?
Okay. With that in mind, I will... So at this point, he's... All right. So this grading here, so there's no... In terms of elevation, it's all flat, it's all the same plane?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any way to... Oh, so this isn't like that sort of pneumatic thing. It's just where they could collect like oil
and
being drained.
Yeah. If I may, I'm also going to, after Amara goes, I'd like to give the other two in the room, because you did hear the gunshot go off and you hear this man screaming. So I'm not ignoring you guys. I'm going to give you a chance here, but I want Amara to react first. He is yelling at you that we have to keep it sated to keep the deadlight abated. We have to keep it sated to keep the deadlight abated. He just says this again and again and again and again.
Seuss?
And it was a Dr. Seuss rhyme. Not a very well-known one, but yeah, it's exactly right.
All right, let me think for just a second. Okay, so arm hurts terribly. Had similar wounds in the war, so it's not... It's, you know, I can roll with those punches, those sharp punches. What I want to do is try to like jump backwards, right, over the grating to try to get to the other side of it. All right, and yell for Murph and Anton.
Okay.
We were probably already rushing a little bit.
Yes, you guys would be moving.
We noticed that you weren't there anymore. So we were probably like, by the time you shot like something like this, I would say like
the grating is tight enough to where I'm not going to make you make a check for that. You can just simply move away. I think that's completely reasonable, and it's a very natural thing to just retract back.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get to the other side and use. If I hit the wall behind me or the shelving or whatever behind me, that's just to sort of like steady myself so that I have, you know, a decent shot on him.
Yep. So as you quickly backpedal away from the door, your right arm is completely useless. It's actually hanging limply at your side. You can feel that you have an arm, but you can't feel like your fingers. You can't. It almost feels like dead weight on the right hand side of your arm. It's completely white. As though the blood, the muscle, the liquid of the arm has been completely drained. And he is still screaming about the dead light. And yeah, anything else you'd like to do, Amara?
Well, if I assume I still have sort of an action, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
'Cause I haven't done anything yet. If he's in the doorway, I want to take another shot.
Do it. Absolutely. Go ahead.
Yeah. And I specifically want to still like try to target his legs or something not quite vital.
Okay.
I don't want to kill him if I don't have to.
Completely understandable.
Okay, here we go.
Damn, nice. There is a loud kablamo, and you hear it reminds you of the Great War. You hear the tearing of flesh. You can hear the breaking of bone. You hear him cry out in pain, and you hear him collapse to the floor next to the door. I'm going to have you roll a luck check, because I want to see if something happens as he falls.
Got it.
Nice. As he falls, he reaches out to grab the door, but as he grabs the door, he actually slams it shut. So he is now on the other side of the door, but you can hear him crying in pain. I'd like to give Anton a quick chance here to move around, because I think he was a little bit closer to the scene of action. It would have moved. Duncan was over by the counter with the now deceased Sam Keelham, excuse me. Anton, you round the corner. You see Amara. Her arm is bleach white. What would you like to do?
Mara, are you okay?
I'll be fine.
Are you safe?
He's inside. He's inside. I kept the leg. He's down.
And I go, what's it, Duncan? Take it over, Mara. I run to the door, give the foot bash.
Sort of a like Spartan kick towards where the handle is. Yeah.
Good old front kick to the door. Gun ready.
As you kick it open, give us a strength check.
This ain't good.
Very excited. Your leg hits the door, and you can feel someone, likely the man that Amara mentioned she capped or shot. You can hear him kind of go, oof.
I'm usually on the other side of the door.
We've got to feed the sins, the deadlight sins, the sins. Everyone, all of them sinning, sinful eating. And he's just going mad. He's just yelling and shouting, and screaming. It's a mixture of pain and this sort of passion, I suppose. This insane passion.
Duncan, he's still alive. I can't get the door open. He is at the bottom of holding it shut.
Do you have anything to brace the door? We don't need to. We can keep him inside as long as he's not a threat to the diner patrons.
So the door opens inward.
Swings inward, yeah.
So is there anything around there? Battery cables, chain, rope?
Duncan, as you enter the scene, you notice that there is some chain actually hanging along the wall, likely to be used to prop up a vehicle, maybe lift it up off the ground so they can work underneath it. So you hear Anton ask for this. You're muted, as is tradition.
Thought I was unmuted. Sorry.
Okay.
As I dropped the flashlight because I only have two hands. So it probably clatters and swirls and making the room even more spooky.
Oh yeah, there's like it's almost like a little lighthouse effect, like a strobe light. Yeah.
And yeah, I start to unravel the chain and going towards Anton.
Mm-hmm. You're able to get to the door, and I'm not gonna make you make a check. You guys can pretty thoroughly barricade the door. I think that's fine. Yeah, giving you a few moments. And as you guys are doing that, I'd like to pivot the scene back over to the diner, where Amelia has not passed out, but is very relaxed. Very relaxed. She's talking about how excited she was to stay at the cabin, and that, yeah, she's just so excited to be at the cabin, and she loves cabins, and she loves being in cabins. And Mary is looking at Matthew with a kind of, what did you give her sort of expression.
He'll just sort of like raise a hand and give her a sort of a placating gesture as he turns back to Amelia and says, the cabin, can you tell me more about the cabin? Where is that now?
She just kind of points off out the window towards where the light had disappeared. That's just down the road, just down. There's the cabins. It's the cabins. The cabins. Mary, you know where the cabins are. And she's just kind of delirious in this moment. And Mary says, yes, we have a couple of cabins that we rent out to travelers and vacationers from time to time, or those that are passing through. There's 3 of them. It's the Orchard Run cabins. No, not 3, 2. 2 of them. What is going on?
Quite frankly, I have no idea, but you can see her state. Something must have gone terribly awry. As I'm a doctor, I feel I should get out to the cabins and see if anyone's all right there.
It's just down the road. Maybe a tenth of a mile. It's just off the right-hand side if you're traveling south.
I see. And who was renting them, other than Amelia?
So she mentions that it was Amelia and her grandfather. Amelia and her grandfather were staying there. Amelia and her grandfather. A strange man, a preacher. Actually, her grandfather was a preacher. He had been staying at the cabin for about 3 months. He seemed, and she's hesitant to say this, but she says he seemed troubled, is the word that this young 16-year-old girl uses. He seemed troubled. He made mention of the sins of the world, sins of society, and he had mentioned a few times something about a cleansing. And Amelia, who has been pretty chill at the mention of a cleansing, starts to shake again, but the morphine is still very present in her system, so she's not hysterical like she was.
Just the standard blather of one of those Armageddon preachers, I'm sure. But given Amelia's state, I do think I should check up on him. Jake. He sort of gesture over to her as Jake.
What?
I assume that you can take care of everything here, make sure that everyone is safe, stays out of the storm.
It's just rain.
Still, you wouldn't want to be driving in these conditions now, would you? Especially if he sort of gestures over to the elderly couple over there with a quirk of his head.
Yeah, and he moves over and he mentions to them, all right, Teddy, all right, Winifred, looks like it's just the 3 of us and Mary, plus the other one.
Thank you. I don't think I got your last name, Jake?
Burns.
Well, thank you, Mr. Burns. I appreciate that. I'm going to stand and sort of straighten his collar.
Wait, you're leaving? Where you're going to? What if whatever you did wears off? What if she starts to get hysterical again?
My dear, it's going to be completely fine. The dosage that I gave her should keep her calm for at least an hour. If I'm not back before then, there are some serious issues. So,
can you check on my father and see where he is? He should have been back already.
I already intend to collect the other members of my party before we check up on Mr. Webb. So I'll look in on your father. I'm certain that he's all right.
All right, and so you're heading down to the auto shop?
I'm going to assume that through the pounding gale of the storm, he has actually overheard perhaps some of that gunfire that's been going on.
I think you heard some stuff happening outside. I think that's fair.
Yeah, so I think he's going to just try to trace that down towards the garage.
You can see the flashlights flickering around from inside. You actually see that kind of strobe effect. I think this scene just took place while the other things were happening, so you can arrive as they have just finished chaining the door. I imagine that there are 3 pistols pointed at you as you step inside, but you are now inside.
Immediately, his eyes focus in on Amara's arm that's hanging limply at her side. His hands drop to his own sides. Are you all right? What happened?
No, David, I'm not. All right, even a little bit. Did you, can you give me a tourniquet or something?
That was a stupid question. Yes. And he's going to sort of surge forward, carrying that medical kit that he took from the diner,
Mhm.
and perform a quick examination to see what has happened to her arm.
Mhm. So, give us a.
I think that'd be first aid, probably.
I would say first aid. Yeah, that makes sense.
And noting the gash, he's going to try to bandage it or wrap it within gauze. Yeah, I'll spend the 8 luck.
So, as you glance down at her arm and you begin your analysis, I suppose you could call it, of her arm, you know you've been at school long enough to have had a chance to work on cadavers. Her arm looks like it's from a cadaver. It is dead. Her arm is dead.
Can I sort of peel back the torn fabric surrounding the upper portion of the wound where her arm meets her shoulder and examine the connection point? Is there...
It ends just above, about 2 inches above her. It's as though there is literally a, like, as though you've ever wrapped a rubber band around your finger and it starts to turn a different color, right? It's as though someone wrapped, it's not there, but there is literally a, dark, skin, living flesh, living skin, and then just white. Literally like an Oreo, for lack of a better comparison.
I have no idea what's happened to you. I don't know how to treat this. I'm sorry. We have to get you to a hospital as quickly as possible.
Well, I know just the one.
What?
It's David. It's a joke. We were just there. We must have a rewards system there or something.
I'm glad to see that your spirits have not been dampened by recent events.
It takes more than this to do it. There's the man inside had some sort of ritual dagger. He struck me with it, as you can see, but he was threatening the people in the diner. We had to contain him.
That might explain what happened to Amelia and her grandfather.
Grandfather?
Yes, apparently they were renting a cabin about a tenth of a mile to, he jerks his head off into the distance towards their right, I guess, towards the west.
There is a thud, thud, thud on the door. You can hear the man banging. He starts to scream. You don't understand? You don't understand. We've got to keep it. We got to... Oh God, it hurts. We've got to keep it fed. Gotta keep it fed. It's gotta eat. You gotta... Ka-thunk. 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 And then there is a kind of, like, chipping sound. And you can tell that he's likely taking the dagger and trying to slash his way through the door. It's not very effective, but it's just kind of ksh, 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 a clattering, and the chains are jingling. The storm is still raging. Please continue.
Were there windows to that room, or was it...
No, not to that room.
We didn't see inside, but we can't be sure.
Oh, I suppose there's no way to distract him and then sneak in the back way. Thoughts?
From what I've been piecing together, I don't know actually. My head hurts.
Well, if he's contained in there, then I hesitate to leave him, but nonetheless, I think we should investigate Mr. Webb's condition. He might still be alive.
Oh, yes. Wait. There's only the mechanic's body here.
He was very, very dead.
That's not the mechanics, that's the owner of the...
Right. The mechanic is the crazy
It's a
fellow.
crazy person, correct.
Okay, so the poor guy on the is the owner of the diner.
Yeah, that's a gentleman
I-
that lent you his phone. He was very excited about having a telephone. He told
I
you all
understood.
about
Sorry,
it.
I understood that
you
was
know.
the mechanic.
Correct.
Unfortunately, Sam is very much no longer with us.
That poor girl.
I don't suggest going there. Just
Very, very ugly scene. And that bastard, and I kicked the door, did it to him.
that dagger that he's trying to chunk his way through. It wasn't in Sam's back, and it came out on its own. So whatever that dagger does, because it's doing something, and I point to Amar's arm.
It was on the counter, and then it disappeared, and now Amara is stabbed with a ritual dagger.
It came out on. You mean to tell me that it somehow teleported from
And then
into the?
No. It flew. It did poof.
like it came out of the body, clanged on the counter, and then gone. So
If this thing is possessed of some sort of, as distasteful as it is to say, magical ability, I think we might have to take it from him before we leave.
I wouldn't.
My pleasure.
I wouldn't. I have a suspicion that whoever wields it is gonna fall into the same state he is in right now.
Crap. What
Do you
if
have
we
any-
don't? We just take it and hide it.
The second, I don't know what's gonna happen, but the second it doesn't have an owner, I guess is the term, it's gonna go bad. So I don't know. I don't know what we can do.
It
Is
seems like-
everyone safe in the diner?
For the
Mention
moment.
of is everyone safe in the diner.
crap.
The clanging stops. You hear a kind of long dragging of the blade on the wooden door that's just scraping. You know, if you've ever whittled, you know that sound. Dragging down the door. Anton, you are standing close next to it. You can hear the man ever so quietly whisper, "It's here."
What is here?
You then hear gunfire. 3 distinct pop,
Fuck.
pop,
Oh yeah,
pop.
I run out.
As you run out, you see a massive, glowing, swirling light right in front of the diner windows. You can see that sort of floating, melted looking face. There is this sound that is akin to the rush of wind through a low valley. It's kind of this like whooshing, howling, sort of whistling noise. And you see Teddy is lifted up into the air, kind of caught. It would appear to be these sort of white, cloudy tendrils of sort, and they have wrapped around, and you can just barely make out Winifred, "No, Teddy, what's happening?" And we watch as Teddy's flesh begins to melt from his face. It is
Can I start
melting
to
away.
try and mercy kill him?
Yeah, absolutely. Starts to melt away. Winifred is screaming. Jake, 3 more rounds. Boom, boom, boom. You can see he's still pulling the trigger, but it did nothing. The bullets flew straight through this otherworldly, translucent beast, this white light, this fucking will-o-wisp, as Professor Hex put it so aptly. And Teddy looks like he's about to die, but Duncan, you may absolutely try and shoot him and kill him. That is a success. A bullet flies straight through his midsection, likely striking his heart. His sort of undulating, twitching, as though he's trying to resist, his body goes limp. The light, these white translucent tendrils, turn back, and that face is staring directly at you, Duncan. And it looks very displeased with you, Duncan. That rush of wind, that sort of whistling sound, the body drops. You can actually hear this kind of clattering, the breaking of additional glass as he falls through. A little bit of blood, but it's mostly that kind of white, almost powdery looking dead skin style that we've seen from the other bodies. And the dead light, this creature, starts to float towards your direction. And there is this hungry look in its face. What would you like to do, Duncan?
I run back to the truck that's parked behind me.
The truck is literally right next to you. You're probably like right at the front of the truck because the truck was parked there. Yes.
And I start it and peel off.
Wow. You're just bolting.
Yep.
Just bolting.
Goodbye.
Leaving everyone to die. Beautiful. That's beautiful. So, the rest of you, were you exiting as well with him? Or what were you doing?
I was sticking relatively close to David just in case I, pass out or
Sure.
get infected or explode or
Sure.
what have you. So
All
I would
right.
follow his lead.
I like that.
And I'd be going out, trying
Yeah, I
to go
think
right back behind him.
You step
that
out.
would be the natural inclination. Yeah.
You see Duncan fire around. You see everything I described to Duncan. What are you doing, Anton?
The wandering light is back.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. And I run back in
Huh?
to that door, and I tell the guy, "How do you stop this thing?" I know you're in there.
Clang, clang, clang.
How do you make it go away?
Won't leave until it's sated. Won't leave until it's fed. There's so much sin in the world. So much sin. It's gotta eat. Gotta eat.
What does it
eat,
eat?
just like the journal said.
What journal? What?
And then there is
At the
a...
top of the door.
There's a what?
I shoot at the top of the door, so I know I'm not going to hit him.
All right.
Shoot in the top corner. What journal?
There is a clattering sound. It sounds like the blade dropping to the floor, and then right afterwards there is a clunk, as though someone just collapsed.
I didn't shit him.
You know what happens when you get shot in the leg and don't receive immediate medical attention? You start to bleed out. You probably just passed out from blood loss.
And I try to push open the door again.
You open the chain, you push it open. There is a man lying on the ground. The dagger is on the ground next to him. You all hear what sounds like the peeling of a truck. Duncan is driving away, abandoning
So I'm
all
not
of you.
actually driving away.
Okay. I was
Don't
like,
worry.
damn. That's
But I
cool. That's
am
ice
using the
cold,
truck.
Duncan. That was ice cold, man. Like I was like, that's cool, dude.
He's leading it
No,
away.
don't worry. The idea is I want to ram the truck in the glowy thing.
Oh.
Right? And just before it hits, jump out,
Okay. All right. I like where your mind's at. So you grab the truck. Give us a drive check. Let's see what happens.
All right. See how bad I am at drive?
Really excited.
I mean, wouldn't you want to be bad?
You want to crash this time.
Yeah, you want to crash.
Yikes. Yikes.
So you did that. Congratulations.
So you put the truck in drive. You slam. The truck begins to lurch forward, but it's rainy as hell. There is this white, crazy, undead, weird floating headlight flying towards you. And the truck, it's not in the best condition. And it sort of lurches to the right, and you slam into the side of the diner. The light starts to lurch towards, and your entire cabin is illuminated in this kind of white, it seems like a mist almost. That mist is starting to seep in to into the cabin of the truck. It almost smells like incense, like that incense if you've ever been to like a Catholic church that they have. It almost smells like that incense, but as though it is stale. And you start to hear this kind of whispered chanting. All of it is you can't make out any of the words. I need you to give me a sanity check, please, Duncan.
As a proper Bostonian Catholic, I start reciting my
Catechism.
thank you.
That's good. That's good. I'm worried about Duncan, everybody. I want to be real. I'm worried about Duncan.
Hey.
Well, Duncan's not worried.
Duncan, you managed to pull yourself together. I'm going to give you a chance to get out of the truck.
So I try to go over the body.
Okay.
And try to open that door and get out.
I like that. So the door that's the opposite side of where the creature is approaching you, so you can get out and run back towards your friends. So all of that happens as Anton is inside with Billy, the unconscious Billy, still bleeding. Matthew, you have David, excuse me, you've poked your head out. You watch Duncan drive the truck into the side of the building. The white light, this translucent thing, is absorbing the front part of the truck, not actually pulling it in, but it's kind of moving past it as though it is phasing through the vehicle. Duncan is running back towards you quickly. What are you doing, David?
As he overheard the inane screaming and ranting of the individual behind that door.
Yes, the entire time since you've arrived.
Okay. Then he turns over to Amara, and sort of his attention wavering between that amorphous cloud of sickly radiance and her, he says, the Sin Eater, the journal, it must be, he was a Hellfire preacher, the Mr. Webb. Maybe that journal, it could be with him, or what's left of him at the cottages. Might be the only way to stop this thing.
Amara will sort of like nod vigorously and then say, go.
I guess with that, he does just turn tail and starts running through the torrential rainfall.
Wow. You run. Amara, what are you doing?
I slump down against the door, right?
Mm-hmm.
To try to like from the inside to keep the door closed.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, I just take a minute to sort of chill,
take a breath
and just keep an eye out on what's going on with Captain Dagger and Anton over there.
Anton, David, Duncan, you get to the door, you try to open it, and Amara's blocking it, so that's a moment. We'll leave that there. But Anton, you see Billy Esterhaus. He is unconscious on the ground. There is a dagger next to him. And what would you like to do?
I call for David. David, he's bleeding. He's on the ground.
David is gone.
Ah, crap. I try to do some first aid real quick. Take off his belt, do a tourniquet, try to at least stop whatever.
Roll us a first aid, my friend. What do we got there?
This is a first aid I don't really give a damn about right now.
You're pretty sure you made it worse. You go to put the tourniquet on, and blood kind of squirts out, strikes your jacket slightly. You didn't do a good job.
Damn it. And I try to slap him awake. Come on, I need you, man. Wake up.
Mm-hmm. Dagger. The dagger. It's here.
Where the light is coming. Where? How do we turn it away from us? Where is the journal?
Use it on me.
If I touch it, what happens?
Use it on me. You don't understand. It's gotta be sated.
Okay.
It's gotta be.
I push you over to the dagger.
Yeah.
So the dagger will end up stabbing him.
So you're gonna like So wait,
Push him
dagger's
into the
lying on the
dagger.
dagger. You're like slide him into the dagger.
Yep. If it just touched Amara,
Yeah. So
Kind
as
of
you
roll
push him
around
towards the
and-
dagger, Anton, as soon as his body touches it, his hand snaps to it and he goes to stab you with it.
little son of a bitch.
Yeah, how would you like to react to that? In fact,
Oh,
he's gonna make an attack against you. Let's see what
He's
happens.
going to be getting a good punch too.
Yeah. He rolled an 86, so he grabs the dagger, swipes at your gut. He misses.
What you do is you take his leg and lift it up at the same time, so he
Curse your
stabs
son.
himself in the
Yeah.
leg.
I would allow that. I would allow that. I would absolutely allow that. That is comical, but also, I think, makes sense.
So, does that happen? Do I roll?
You would roll for it. All right. So here's what we're going to do. This is going to be the rule of cool. He failed worse than you,
Okay.
so it works. That's what we're going to go with.
10 points of luck is a lot.
So he pulls it up. You go to stab. You, like, grab his leg, like, lift it up, grab onto it, and he nicks himself, and he screams, "Sweet release." As his leg turns white, his face turns white, he turns the dagger around and plunges it into his own chest, and he starts to fade away as though all of the liquid in his body is being absorbed by the dagger. Give me a sanity check, please. Duncan, you are
18.
running. The white light is almost on you, and then that illumination from the white light seems to dissipate. And as you look over your shoulder, the white light has vanished behind you, at least for the time being. You are sane, Anton, at least slightly.
I wouldn't say that.
The dagger pulls itself up and out of the body and clatters to the side. David, you're running. You're running, David. Haney, you're running. You run some more and you see a road that leads off to the side. Follow that road, I assume. It's on the right-hand side. Curves back up northward a little bit, then curves to the left. You've been running now for a good 5 minutes or so. You're soaked. Your shoes are soggy. They're making that weird squishing noise that they make when there's water in them. Your socks are completely wet. You're very uncomfortable, for lack of a better phrase. But eventually, you see up ahead the illumination of what appears to be two cabins next to each other. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to reveal to you a cottage map. It's a handout that you can see. See a little cottage map. Little cottage up ahead. There's two of them. There appears to be a little cottage, and it looks to be like a little parking garage that's been turned into a additional like place to stay. Almost like they converted. You can see there's a little like probably like an apartment above the parking garage, but you see the cabin right there. How would you like to proceed?
I guess even despite the harsh conditions, he's not even really winded considering his
Adrenaline.
robust physique and also the circumstances. But he has this sort of manic expression to his face as he slips and stumbles through the muck and mire of the pathway leading up to the first home on the left, because that's slightly closer, and he is going to race for that door.
The door is open. Door
Not
is
even
open.
pausing, he's going to plunge into that
Beautiful.
the darkest side.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And as David plunges into the darkness inside, this feels like a great moment to just leave this hanging. We're going to end the session there. That feels like a really good moment as he plunges inside. The dead light has disappeared. I like this. Now, I know it wasn't a very long session, but that just feels like a good little cliffhanger. So we will wrap this up, more than likely, either live or die, session 6 of Call of Cthulhu Memento Mori, this short little adventure of Dead Light. And I just want to say thank you to everyone. This was a very action-packed session for us. A lot happened. Amara lost an arm, basically.
Well, I still have the arm. Let's be clear.
Yeah, you haven't lost it. It's just not usable anymore. It's
This doesn't work very well.
malfunctioning,
Might
as it
not
were.
be there anymore.
What's that?
Soon it might not be there anymore.
It may not be. I don't know. We'll find out.
Soak it in water overnight. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Couple of Easter
David's
eggs.
been keeping it together. Anton almost lost his stomach, which would have been real uncomfortable. Your midsection. You almost died, Anton. I want to be very clear that if he had stabbed you, you'd probably be dead.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
I know.
uh-oh.
I think a bunch of us today
So
were
wait,
like,
you're sliding him towards the dagger. The crazy man that's been swinging it around. Oh, all right, that's fair. I can't argue with that. I'm gonna punish you for it. But sometimes the dice have a story to tell. And tonight's story was Amaro loses an arm, or at least it malfunctions, which is fine. But as I always say at the end of every session, any final thoughts, questions, comments, or concerns before we wrap up today's session, my friends?
amazing as always.
I had a lot of fun. I really did. This was a good one. I wanted to give a special shout out to Broccoli. Thanks so much for the bits. Thanks for the comments. We really appreciate you, man. And in the meantime, be well, be safe. And as I always say at the end of every session as well, thank you so much to the players for playing. Without you, I literally can't do this. So I really appreciate you taking the time. Thank you to the viewers for viewing. Without you, we'd still probably play, but it's cooler to have people watch. Happy gaming, everybody. And we will catch you next week for the epic conclusion of Deadlight, a Call of Cthulhu Memento Mori story with all of us. But be well and be safe until then. Cheers.